Hey guys, do you have a sloped patio like mine? Today I'm going to show you how I made this base to keep it nice and level. So in order to plan out how I'm going to level this hot tub, I made this torsion box structure that's going to help me identify where the high and low points are. I can see it's pretty even across from left to right, but from the house back it does slope about 1/4 inch over the 7 feet. So I've got these little sticks right here in the corner to prop it up, and I've moved my level all around and I've determined it's good and level. So now we need to go inside and rip up a 2x12x8 into a bunch of wedge-shaped strips, put them underneath, and then lay on top of this a 3/4 inch piece of plywood, and that's going to be our level foundation for the hot tub. Let's go get cutting. So now we're going to cut our massive wedges, which are going to support the 3/4 inch plywood underneath and follow the slope of the cement. Now to do that, I'm going to use this little jig here, which is just a parallel sacrificial board that we're going to nail to the top of our 2x material on an angle. As we run it against the table saw fence, it'll cut that wedge shape. And to do that, we're going to leave 1/8 of an inch here, which is the thickness of the kerf of the blade, and then 1 3/8 inches down here because we want our final height at this end to be 1 1/4 inches. So I'll just measure that out, nail it in a few places, run it through the table saw, and then we'll just keep alternating our pieces and we'll get all of our wedges cut out of this piece, making sure to remove the nails each time and to not have them interfere with the blade. So as you see, I've got all the shims laid out roughly where they're going to be. And the next step is going to be using my laser level, which is set to level at the far end where the shims taper down to nothing. We're going to now mark out a few of these shims. They need a little bit of adjusting as there's a bit of hump in the concrete right here. By and large, those ones over there are fine, not going to need any work. But I am going to trace out the laser line, cut this on the bandsaw, and this will more accurately represent a straight slope across the cement. So now we've got to cut off the corner, a big chamfer. I know the distance from this point to this point is 5 inches at a 45-degree angle. So I've got my speed square here. I've marked 5 inches and we'll just draw it out. And then we'll just buzz that off with a circular saw. So I've got both sheets of plywood laid out on the table. They're facing upside down. We're going to go ahead and join these two together using this, our biscuit joiner. This is going to help keep everything aligned and add a little bit of strength. And our glue of choice is going to be polyurethane construction adhesive. So I'm going to first, with a Sharpie, mark the location of all 6 of these biscuits on both sides so they're matching. Then we'll go ahead and glue this sucker together. So in order to make things a little bit less hectic, I'm going to go ahead and just glue this side of the biscuit in ahead of time. So now that I've laid out all the shims in the correct order with the cut side facing down the contour of the cement and our flat side facing the plywood, we're going to go ahead and glue the back of all of them with the polyurethane construction adhesive and keep it in place with some brad nails. I'll have to adjust the length of brad nail as I go, as obviously it's a little thicker over here and a little thinner over there. But the first thing I'm going to do before that is I'm going to go ahead and mark these two corners and cut off this thick section, which is going to overhang our chamfered corners. So last thing to do before this sucker's complete, bring it outside, is we're going to add in these little strips that kind of block in this section at the end, as I don't want any little critters or bugs or whatever getting in there.
Damn, we're looking good.